wait till you hear this. I mean, every one of these cards, I don't even have to say it after each one, because every one of these cards, everything I'm going to read to you on this, I just want you to know this straight out of the gates and understand this and keep this in your head as I'm reading these. I mean, we already knew, I already said, just the creation of these cards and the existence of these cards alone backs up everything I've been telling you about for years. But, oh, good golly, Miss Molly, I could not have counted on the actual contents of these cards. I mean, I'm just astounded. Dumbfounded. Flabbergasted. Let's go through it one at a time here. Ace of Spades, first card, has a gentleman and a U.S. soldier. He's got his military issue machine gun there, his gear on, his pack. You know, he looks like a fucking hoorah! Good, ready to go, ready to fucking kill some fucking Hajis, protecting America. He's ready to go. And below him it says, the DOD needs your help protecting cultural heritage resources. Really? The DOD, I mean, think about that. The Department of Defense. The Department of Defense needs your help protecting cultural heritage resources. Now, let's just break this one on down for a second, shall we? First off, what is the Department of Defense? The DOD? What is that? Correct me if I'm wrong. Correct me if I'm off the charts here. Last time I checked, the DOD was the fucking war machine itself. The heart, soul, brains, guts of the fucking war machine. Hoorah. Let's kick anybody's fucking ass who ain't American and wipe them off the goddamn face of the planet, because we're the greatest fucking nation on earth that this planet's ever fucking seen. And nobody's going to be more powerful than us ever. Oh, they're different than us? Oh, let's fucking kill them. Why? Because we fucking can. Hoorah. Let's do it. I'm correct about that, right? That's the same old DOD, right? Department of Defense, same one. The war machine itself, not an arm of the war machine, not a extension of the war machine, not a creation of the war machine. The fucking war machine itself. We're clear on that, right? Okay, so let's go from there in this statement. The DOD needs your help protecting cultural heritage resources. Really? Since when? Since when has the fucking Department of Defense been concerned with protecting anything? Isn't their job to kill, maim, and destroy, and that's it? Why are they all so worried about cultural heritage resources in the Middle East, specifically in ancient Egypt and ancient Iraq, Assyria, Mesopotamia, Babylon? Because those are the two main regions they depict on this card. So obviously and these cards all say the same thing. They just have different pictures, but the statements on them are the same. So we haven't even got past the first card yet. Ace of Spades, it's a doozy, isn't it? Even Lemmy couldn't have predicted that one. The DOD needs your help protecting cultural heritage resources. And then the picture they show with that is, Mr. fucking G.I. Joe himself. Military issue machine gun, fucking helmet, Kevlar. He's fucking good to go, ready to kill some fucking Hajis. There he is, Mr. America. The DOD needs your help protecting cultural heritage resources, but we do it with fucking machine guns. I mean, if you're buying this crap, no, it gets better. That's just the first card. Let's continue. This shows a picture of, this is the two of spades. It shows what looks to be modern-day Iraq. It says, ancient Iraqi heritage is part of your heritage. It is believed that Jonah of the Bible is buried here. And then the caption says, Nabi Yunus Mosque in Mosul, Iraq. That's what this picture's of. Well, that's pretty presumptuous, isn't it? I mean, how do you know whoever this military man is? They presume you're a good God-fearing Christian. If you're reading this card, you're in the military. You're a God-fearing Christian. Yeah, good God-fearing Christians go out and fucking commit murder and genocide. Yeah, that's what we're about. That's what it is about, isn't it? So it's always been about bloodshed. Ancient Iraqi heritage is part of your heritage. I mean, right there, they're openly admitting that without, ancient Babylon, Mesopotamia, Sumeria, you don't have all the things that come after that, namely Christianity and the rest of it, because it all came from there in the first place. The three of spades says, it's got a picture of a dude fucking whitewashing some graffiti off some stone walls. It says, no graffiti, defacing walls, or ruins with spray paint or other materials is disrespectful and counterproductive to the mission. Notice how it doesn't say what the mission is. It just says that spray painting these sites is counterproductive to the mission. Yeah, while you're fucking spray painting, you should be looking around for more artifacts to conceal and more sites, ancient sites to blow up, ancient statues to blow up. And this one says, look before you dig, and it shows the soldier, and he's like digging in the ground. It's pretty common. This one's got a dude looking at a Humvee over in the distance and says, drive around, not over archaeological sites. This one has what looks like the Tower of Babel thing on it. Respect monuments and ruins wherever possible. They are a part of our cultural collective history. Ancient minaret at Samarra, Iraq. Notice that, reinforcing that again. Reinforcing that, this is a part of our collective history. See, because before, these guys were just going over there and, pissing on everything and shitting on everything and blowing it up and spray painting it and fuck these Hajis. They flew airplanes around buildings, fuck their heritage. And these guys were low-level dudes. Dudes who are the grunts, first to fight. And that's really who was doing most of this stuff. Because these guys are the ones that are coming straight out of fucking basic training. Hoorah, gung-ho, revved up, pissed off at anything brown, ready to kill some fucking Hajis. And these are the guys who are doing this stuff. That's why they had to tell them it's counterproductive to the mission. Well, you don't know what the fucking mission is, but it's counterproductive to it, I assure you. So they issue these cards to enforce and reinforce ideas into the average grunt's head without anybody in the power structure having to call anybody to a room and tell them these things themselves. This is how they absolve themselves and give themselves plausible deniability as they do in every situation. Here they show an ancient art site. This looks to be an ancient Babylonian temple to me. Because it's part of what the ruins of one absolutely fucking astounding looking building. It says this site has survived for 17 centuries. Will it survive? Will it and others survive you? I mean, what's that supposed to mean? The 8 of spades. Stop digging immediately if you find buried walls, broken pottery, or other artifacts. Report what you find. Notice how they seem to reinforce the idea, too, that any one of these soldiers seems to be at any given time doing a lot of digging. You picking up on that? This is the second time they mentioned something about, watch where you dig. I understand, you have to dig the occasional foxhole. You dig, a hole for this purpose, a base camp, this, that, whatever others, may be. But here they're making it sound like every single grunt soldier is out there digging a hole every day of the week. And if they're looking for stuff, that may very well be the case. It may be why they had to resort to making these cards. Here's another one that says, future generations will be thankful for the monuments and sites spared today. 10 of spades, a mound. Here they show a mound. A mound or a small hill in an otherwise flat landscape could be a sign of ancient human occupation. Proceed with caution. Tel Ramah, Iraq. Now, bear in mind, boys, if you see a mound of dirt, this could be sign of an ancient human occupation. Why would they say proceed with caution? A mound or a small hill in an otherwise flat landscape could be a sign of an ancient human occupation. Proceed with caution. As if there's something there that could be endangering to them. You understand that? I mean, doesn't that seem a bit odd? Like they're saying, proceed with caution if you go near one of these, but also informing people that, hey, yeah, there are mounds over here. And yes, they pertain to all this. So you might want to pay attention to these things. Here's one that has those famous Anunnaki statues that shows the lineage of one of the bloodline families and depicts a whole bunch of the different ones. Those were taken, I believe, from Ur. It says ancient cultural artifacts and objects in art are objects of art and heritage resources that must be protected. Again, not giving any reason why, but reinforcing that this is indeed this unspoken mission. This one says, remember, the buying and selling of antiquities is illegal and punishable under the Uniform Code of Military Justice. Figurine depicting King Ur-Nammu, Nippur, Iraq. And this is how these elite guys have been getting their hands on this stuff. They've created their own black market. They sent these guys over there with no rules, pumped up on aggression and brainwashing and conditioning from the training they receive in the military. And they set them loose over there. And these guys bring back stuff off the books or whatever, and then who do they sell it to? They sell it to the same exact people who gave them the orders to go in there and do this stuff in the first place. But because it's not done in any official capacity, that's how they've been able to get boatloads of antiquities out of there under the radar. And then blame it on Iraqi looters in the process. This one says, protected cultural site. Remember the international symbol for a protected cultural site. Another one, buying looted artifacts is forbidden. These objects will be confiscated if discovered during redeployment inspections. Again, if this wasn't a problem, and this wasn't being widespread going on, they wouldn't feel the need to address it once, much less 3 or 4 times here in this deck of playing cards. And the DOD, don't forget the DOD funded this and paid for these cards to be produced. The 2 of diamonds. Cylinder seals look like curved pieces of chalk, as with other artifacts. Do not buy them. So right there, they're pointing out cylinder seals. They don't say shoot the Haji in the head and take them. They just say don't buy them. What they really mean is if someone comes up with you and tries to sell these, don't buy them. Put a bullet in their brain, take them, and then take them and turn them into your commanding officer immediately. That's what they mean. 3 of diamonds. Purchasing ancient souvenirs helps fund insurgents. Do not buy them. Again, this is like the 4th time you see how they reinforce this again and again? Don't fund the enemy. Don't buy these antiquities. Here's again the 4 diamonds. Report to your OIC any looting activity or attempts to sell ancient artifacts. It's become such a widespread problem, they have to address it on almost every one of these cards. Looters leave destructive holes and tunnels throughout archaeological sites. Report all observed looting and damage, war damage and looting. You just said that in the last card, the 4 diamonds. Now the 5 diamonds says almost the exact same thing, except says watch out for those pesky looters. 6 of diamonds. Thousands of artifacts are disappearing from Iraq and Afghanistan. Report suspicious behavior. Now this one's really the first one for me that grabbed me. It has, one of the great, I'm trying to remember who that guy is. Maybe Gilgamesh. I think it's a bust of Gilgamesh. But this is the first one that really grabbed me. Thousands of artifacts are disappearing from Iraq and Afghanistan. Report suspicious behavior. Right there, they're reinforcing and really telling us the reason why they had to make these cards in the first place. The artifacts are being taken at such a rapid rate from those areas. It's become a problem for the powers that be, because what they originally created to be able to get their means achieved has now turned into something where this stuff's just being taken and it's not winding back up in their own hands. And that tells us that other governments of the world that we've been embedded with, who've also been involved in ongoing operations over there, their leaders that are in the know, that are in the chain of command, have full knowledge of the power and importance of whatever these specific artifacts are that they're so heatedly after over there. So, yeah, these are being picked up, sold to the highest bidder, and countries all over the world are trying to amass this stuff, not just the United States. And I think that card really is a shocking admission of that. Let's continue here. 7 of diamonds. Now here they have a picture of the Iraq National Museum after it was looted from 2003. This, I can tell by that footage and the way it's lit. That's a screenshot taken from the actual footage where they go in and where they film themselves going in and taking the Antiquities. So right there on their own card, they're admitting. Here's a clip from the footage that we shot while we did it last time, and it says museums are also victims of conflict and need protection when possible. It's kind of one of those things where if you have to tell somebody why, it must be a big deal. The 8 of diamonds. U.S. CENTCOM General Order Number 18 expressly prohibits removing, possessing, selling, defacing, or destroying archaeological artifacts or treasures. And it says, in parentheses, the recovered treasure of Nimrud in Iraq. Now, I've never seen this. The recovered treasure of Nimrud. But I'm sitting here looking, and I can see gin bottles. Genie titles, solid gold. Nimrud, another one of these supposed Anunnaki god leaders. I mean, I've never seen that picture before, but it obviously tells you whose possession it's in now. The people that produce these cards, that's who. The 9 of diamonds. The Joint Interagency Task Force recovered more than 5,000 artifacts stolen from the Iraq Museum. The Mask of Warka was recovered by the 812th MP Company. The Mask of Warka, Iraq, and it looks like an alien being. And then they are patting their own back and saying what a good job they've done getting those looted antiquities. Yes, what a good job they've done at getting them in their own possession. Here's one that shows an ancient cuneiform tablet, and it says Mesopotamia is considered the birthplace of writing, as evidenced by this ancient city tablet, or ancient clay tablet, rather, with cuneiform script. The Jack of Diamonds shows a picture of the Statue of Liberty and says, how would we feel if someone destroyed her torch? What does that even mean? Is that a reference to the torch kind of being round like some of the mosques you see and whatnot? How would we feel if someone destroyed her torch? That would mean that we destroyed someone else's torch. Whose torch did we destroy? Interesting that they would use that symbology, that being that the Statue of Liberty is actually Queen Semiramis. And you have the Behistun inscription in Iraq, which is inscribed by King Darius and then signed at the bottom by Queen Semiramis. It's on this giant, huge rock in Behistun in Iran. Monumental art such as this statue should be preserved for all humankind. This shows the Assyrian winged bull statue. Buddhist statuary from Hadda in Afghanistan has been heavily looted for sale on the illegal market. Stop looting activity whenever possible. Reinforcing that for the 8th time. If you see looters, be sure and stop them. Again, the most basic low-level form of mind control is repetition. And it's clear that that's what these cards are designed to do for soldiers. And here's a soldier sitting down with some children in a classroom, a black soldier, and it says, the main goal of archaeology is to understand the past, your past. And then has this soldier sitting down with a book in front of some children. So a soldier, make it a black guy, tug at their heartstrings. Hey, this is part of your culture too. Help preserve it. When they don't want to have them preserve anything. They just want to make sure they keep all this shit intact so they can get what they're after. "99% of humankind's history can only be understood through archaeology. The Two of Hearts, ancient ruins at Samarra, Iraq. The Three of Hearts. To understand the meaning of an artifact, it must be found and studied in its original setting." Again, reinforcing the archaeological side of this, making it clear that that's what these soldiers are there for. And again, I don't need the proof. I've been told what goes on over there, folks. The Four of Hearts, protection of heritage resources is the responsibility of all ranks within a unit. That's another one. Think about that statement for a minute. Protection of heritage resources is the responsibility of all ranks within a unit, meaning no matter how high or low, up, down the food command chain you are in the military, protection of heritage resources is your responsibility. Again, they sell one version of the narrative story to the public. Oh, it's for oil. Oh, it's for to fight the terrorists and fight them over there, so we have to fight them over here. I mean, it's the same old excuses that they use all the time, over and over and over again. Meanwhile, the real reason we're there is completely different, because they know the public would not understand the reasons. However, really, that they want answers, and that's the one thing they don't want to give on any of this stuff, is any kind of answers. Protecting archaeological sites helps preserve them for future generations, and it shows this nice, sweet soldier holding the hands of a little Iraqi boy. Again, notice how in the suit of hearts here, they've really been tugging at the heartstrings. Another subtle manipulation. Let's associate little children with preserving of these archaeological sites, so that way, we'll ensure that you do it. These guys don't care. They'll kill kids too. I don't know what they're fucking talking about. Here's another one of those Sumerian Enki depictions. The world's oldest complete legal document is found on a stone carved with an image of Hammurabi, king of Babylon. And that's the Six of Hearts. The Seven of Hearts. Iraq has been described as the cradle of civilization. And they show Nimrod's throne room there on that one. Mesopotamian civilization originated in the Fertile Crescent between the Tigris and Euphrates rivers, where agricultural settlements were established over 8,000 years ago. Reinforcing that, hey, this is where everything began. This is why we need you guys not to just go over there and build base camps on archaeological sites. See, that when they were given the mission, they weren't told not anything. They wanted to keep it such a secret that they ended up fucking themselves by just letting these anger-filled, brainwashed soldiers go over there and rape, pillage, and do whatever they wanted to do. So now that they've had time before going over there and going back again, they've reevaluated this, and they've said, okay, we need to make sure every single soldier knows the real reason we're here. So they're not making it a secret. That's what's changed about this stuff now. They're not making it a secret what the mission is to the soldiers anymore, but they're still very much keeping the general public in the dark as to what the real reasons are why we're there. The Bible's Tower of Babel referred to a Mesopotamian ziggurat. Again, reinforcing that, hey, there's a connection to the Bible here. You wouldn't want to destroy this stuff or deface it or maim these artifacts. Hey, this is some Bible-connected stuff here. We want to make sure we're on board with that, right? The Ten of Hearts, religious monuments such as the Bamayan Buddhas in Afghanistan are often targets of intentional destruction. Protect them when possible. Protect them when possible. Like that, yeah. Protect them when you can, and when you can't, blow the shit out of them with C4. How about that? This is one of my favorites, the Jack of Hearts. You got some pictures of some dudes wearing tunics and head wraps. It says, local elders may be a good source of information about cultural heritage and archaeology. Nice. So make sure you prize the local elders of any info you can get out of them. Bribe them, torture them, waterboard them, do whatever the fuck you got to do, but get the goddamn information. They're a good source. Make sure you take everything they have, milk them dry, find out any information they may have that's been passed down for years, and then shoot them in the fucking head, double tap style, get the fuck out of there. That's what they meant to say. That's what they wanted to say on that card. Ancient sites matter to local communities. Showing respect wins hearts and minds. The Queen of Hearts, yeah. The King of Hearts. If it is a defensible position or key terrain today, it may have been for thousands of years. Watch for archaeological remains. Isn't that interesting? Implying that, there's been war going on in that area of the world for thousands of years. This is nothing new. If it was a good spot then, it is now. That's why it's there. Here's another one with a soldier in front of an ancient ruins. It says, ancient walls of mud brick are easily damaged. In the dry climate of the Middle East, a mud brick wall could be thousands of years old. So pay attention to those mud brick walls. Again, really making sure, reinforcing that these soldiers know what they're looking for and what they aren't looking at. Here's one that shows a piece of pottery and says, leave artifacts like broken pottery or inscribed bricks in place. And this, obviously this is just a feel-good thing. Obviously the policy is to go over there and rape and maim and destroy and do the rest of this, but they put out this stuff as a way for them to absolve themselves of any responsibility for what goes on. It says, use your camera to document archaeological and historical sites. So take lots of pictures. And the next one is the Seven of Spades is the same thing. Taking pictures is good. Removing artifacts or souvenirs is not. This one's very interesting. The Eight of Spades says, every DoD installation has a cultural resources manager. Call yours with questions about archaeology, history, or culture. Now, isn't that fascinating? Every DoD installation has a cultural resources manager. Cultural resource, again, a very strong admission there. But the Department of Defense itself is so interested in ancient sites and ancient antiquities that they actually have a cultural resources manager within the Department of Defense, and soldiers are encouraged to call theirs with questions about archaeology, history, or culture. So if you see something that you don't know what it is and it seems odd, well, just report to your local Department of Defense cultural resources manager, and they'll find out what you've found, and they'll send a containment unit out if necessary. That's a huge omission. Smoking gun evidence that the Department of Defense themselves employ in their own unit a quote-unquote cultural resource manager who can answer questions about archaeology, history, and culture. They employ their own experts on these ancient sites, folks. let me ask you a question. What do you think is the defensive purpose of employing experts on ancient archaeological sites and ancient artifacts and the rest of it? Because for the Department of Defense to do this, it means, folks, that it has a defensive purpose. This knowledge, this information, defensive purpose. That would lead me to believe that whatever they're looking for in these ancient sites is some sort of ancient and very destructive weapon. Could it be the same weapon that was this frequency weapon that was said to have been unleashed by the inhabitants of the Cahokia civilization in southern Illinois? It's possible. But it doesn't even have to be. We think about a weapon is in terms of, something that can be used for mass destruction. But to them and their definition and the way they qualify it, a weapon could mean a Stargate. Anything that could be used by somebody else against the wishes of the power structure that controls the Department of Defense of the United States of America it's going to be considered a problem. And the evidence has been pointing this for quite some time. They're certainly looking for the evidence of something that they want very badly. What it is, nobody really knows for sure. But in my opinion, the more that I'm looking at this, and the more that I've been looking at this for many years now, and I've really wrestled with it almost every day for years. But, you just keep digging, and that's how you gain a greater context, is just by not stopping to dig, don't stop digging. And beyond any shadow of doubt, it's some sort of weapon. I believe they're after some sort of ancient weapon or technology that existed that most certainly has the power to give the person who controls it, or the group of people that control it, a vast amount of power. And I think they definitely want to find it before other entities do, that's for sure. You can go and read these on your own as well. It says, heavy excavation equipment can do great harm to archaeological sites. Be aware and prepare to stop. So letting you know right there, they're using heavy excavation equipment, which means they're, going through these sites. And here's a picture of a military, exactly what I was saying earlier. This guy's a fully uniformed. He's got a Kevlar flak jacket on, helmet. This is a soldier. And here he is. He's in an archaeological site with a shovel digging it out. And there again, they reinforce this. It says, stop digging if you find ancient artifacts or archaeological features. Well, you already covered that in, I think, the 3 of spades or whatever it was the same fucking card. But here he is, man, full on. He's Mr. G.I. Joe, but yet, how come you're not going out and fighting Haji's G.I. Joe? You're digging fucking holes? And archaeologists, that doesn't sound like goods as advertised to me. I think I'd be a little pissed at that, wouldn't you? I mean, if you were, a hoorah, lean, mean, fucking killing machine, and you went through all the bullshit of basic training, and you're ready to go fucking kill some fucking Hajis because they flew airplanes into our buildings and hate us for our freedoms, and wouldn't you be a little bit pissed if they said, okay, hotshot, here's your fucking shovel, start digging. You're like, what do I get to kill Hajis? No, that's not what we're here for, dude. You kill them if they get in your way, but I mean, we're here to fucking dig this shit out and find out what's here. Get on it, We need every fucking able body digging these holes. Motherfucker, really? I gotta come on with a hot-ass desert to dig some fucking holes? Shit. We're going to kill people here. It's funny, they got a shot of this guy. He's got his head down. It looks like he's pissed. Like, really? Fucking really? You guys are really going to make me fucking dig a hole? Shit. This is bullshit. Came to kill Hajis, man, not fucking digging some old ancient ruins. I could have done that shit at home, my backyard. Use a monitor when digging in archaeological sensitive areas. Okay, we already told us that. Here's the one that blew me away the most. The King of Spades. It has a picture of some furnace thingy made out of brick, and it says, many DoD properties in the U.S. have protected archaeological sites. Learn more about your home installation. Lewisburg Furnace, Fort Drum, New York. Now, that's a hell of an admission. That's exactly what I found from going to all these ancient sites. So many of these ancient sites are all around prisons, military bases. In the case of Colorado, there were some specific rocks there that had this ancient language that's like Proto-Hebrew, Proto-Canaanite. And now the place where those are at, you can hike out to them now. It's inside this big secure military installation in Colorado. You can't get to it. I tried. I was like, yeah, we're going to go. And then I started looking online and go, oh, no, we're not. It's in the middle of a military installation now. So right there, they admit that many Department of Defense properties in the United States have protected archaeological sites on them. Mound sites, whatever else. So I guess what we need to do now, I haven't done this yet. Maybe some of our other astute researchers out there want to help us. The real question is now, how do we find a list of DoD properties in the United States? First off, I guess you just type in properties owned by the Department of Defense and find out where those properties are at. And then maybe we can find out what's on them. But right there, they're saying, hey, if you're interested in ancient archaeology, when you go back to your home Department of Defense location in the United States, hey, just say something to them. Most all of these places have ancient sites built right on them. I mean, what more? Folks, is that not what I've fucking been telling you for the longest time is going on? Of course they build their secure military installations around these pre-existing ancient sites. Duh. But for them to admit it right there, that's out of control. Well, we're going to leave it there for tonight. And hopefully we'll be back here with you tomorrow night. $400 is the goal. That's what we got to raise by tomorrow. I'll give you a prize back if you donate $200 or more. TheGlobalReality.com. Get yourself a membership. Buy yourself a movie, a copy of one of my films. Make a donation to the operating costs. Make a donation to the Lost Secrets 3. Whatever you can do, folks. Help keep us alive. We only have 24 hours to get this done, so let's do it. Please help us. I don't want to have to get back up here tomorrow night and be in a red alert mode. Let's just get it handled. TheGlobalReality.com. My name is Josh Reeves. I love each and every one of you. And hopefully we'll see you next time, folks. You guys have a good one. Take care.